What about Chris Brown that was arrested in the UK? Well, come to find out, charges have been dropped against Chris Brown. See, now this is the justice system for the rich and famous. When you have money, you can make charges go away. Although the civil allegations have been dismissed, UK apparently is still pursuing criminal charges against Chris Brown. However, Chris Brown, as we know, is a free man, and he continues to be on tour. Now, we don't know that Chris has settled this lawsuit or whether he paid this dude or not, but it just seems highly suspect that all of a sudden that this lawsuit has been dismissed. So we're going to take a look at an article from The Source that reports on this, and it says, another day, another dismissed lawsuit. It says that Chris Brown is putting a civil legal battle behind him. So that is interesting. He was facing civil charges and not criminal charges. Criminal charges are the ones that land you behind bars. However, they did arrest him while he was in the UK. So the UK laws might be just a little bit different. But according to this article, it says that Chris Brown is putting a civil legal battle behind him after a lawsuit accusing him of a violent nightclub attack in London was officially withdrawn. Abe Dao, who filed the complaint, has moved to dismiss the case with prejudice, which is a legal step that ensures it cannot be revived in the future. So he cannot file these claims again in the future. That is what dismiss the case with prejudice means, apparently. And it is said that, according to filings in Los Angeles County, the decision to close the case suggests both sides may have reached a private agreement, though no details have been shared publicly. So we cannot say for sure or not whether they have reached an agreement or not. But from the outside looking in, it is highly likely that they have reached an agreement. So it says that we don't know if there was an agreement, but we do know the suit was dismissed. And it is said that TMZ noted that dismissals like this often involve confidential settlements. So if the settlement is confidential, we might not ever know if there was a settlement or not. We can only speculate. But it sounds like somebody said, deposit your check. So reportedly, we doubt we will hear if a deal happened, as there are normally very strict confidentiality guidelines with those types of agreements. I would imagine that they include non-disclosure statements. So it said that Dial previously alleged that Chris Brown struck him with a Don Julio 1942 bottle multiple times inside Tape nightclub, knocking him unconscious and then stomping on him. Now that is just crazy. Sounds like somebody needs to get their temper under control. He claimed the incident caused severe injuries requiring medical attention. Now it is said that even though this lawsuit is now over, Chris Brown is not free from legal challenges. He still faces criminal prosecution in the United Kingdom tied to the same encounter. Alright, so even though the civil suits have been dropped, it looks like criminal action is still ensuing in the UK. But it appears that Chris should have settled just a little bit quicker, but we don't know whether they settle or not. I'm just saying, if they did settle, Chris Brown should have settled a little bit quicker. I am thinking because maybe these criminal charges might not have arisen in the UK. But then again, it sounds like it's not up to the IU guy about the criminal charges that are against Chris Brown. But he probably will not testify. So if he does not testify, do they still have a case? Okay, so the civil case has been dismissed because it says we'll see how that goes. Maybe that'll get dismissed too. So the criminal case in the UK is still on and popping. It is just the civil case that has been dismissed. This according to this article in The Source. So although the civil allegations have been dismissed, UK apparently is still pursuing criminal charges against Chris Brown. However, Chris Brown, as we know, is a free man, and he continues to be on tour. Let me know what you think about this entire situation with Chris Brown. Make sure you leave a comment below. P. Diddy's fate is in the hands of 12 jurors as they deliberate a verdict in his criminal trial. The jury, which has heard graphic testimony on P. Diddy's alleged abuses from more than 30 witnesses, gathered again in a Manhattan court on Monday, June 30th, to begin deliberations following the completion of closing arguments. This according to an article from USA Today. And those were some closing arguments from the defense team, weren't they? If it wasn't just one trial and not two trials, as the defense team tried to portray in their closing arguments, it would be laughable. I mean, what jury in their right mind is going to take the defense seriously? I mean, are they really buying what the defense is putting down? But you never know. Stranger things have happened in today's political environment. And let's not forget, there is a chance he could get a pardon. Wouldn't that be crazy? I mean, lots of people seem to be getting pardons these days. All very frightening to think about it. You know how the average person stays on the straight and narrow, knowing that if you stray off that path, you will not have access to fight the legal system because our pockets are not as deep as the rich. The rich seem to be able to buy their way out of legal situations. Speaking of legal situations, I know that this is a bit off track. It has been reported that those assault charges have dropped against Chris Brown. Now, this is what happens when you have money. One day you have charges against you, and the next thing you know, charges are dropped. And Chris Brown was being sued for millions of dollars. And now reportedly the charges have been dropped. This is the type of justice that money gets you. Now, there's no proof that Chris has settled this lawsuit, but it looks suspect that all of a sudden charges have been dropped against Chris Brown with no explanation. So it appears that he can go on with his tour without any interruptions. But anyway, back to the Diddy situation. One strange moment surprised court watchers in the afternoon because the jury sent a note to Judge Aaron Submarinian saying they were concerned a juror wouldn't follow the instructions that they were giving at the start of their process. Now, some people watching might have concerns that this might be a rogue juror that might get Diddy off regardless of the findings. I know that this is what I was thinking at first, but this does not seem to be the case since the juror was left on the case. Now, it is said that the note from the jurors, which Submarinian read aloud in open court, read in part, "We have a juror number 25 who we are concerned cannot follow your Honor's instructions." So in other words, they was having a problem. However, it appears the issue has been resolved and that the judge is satisfied, at least for now, that the juror will be able to follow instructions. Now, either that or it could be that the juror has figured out that they have concerns about them and they are faking it until the end. You just never know, is my thought. But let's hope that this is not the case. So now it's reported that after discussing the note with prosecutors and defense lawyers, Submarinian said he would send a note back to the jury reminding them of their obligations, but that he would take no further action for now. But it appears that juror number 25 is safe for now. Reportedly, juror number 25 described himself during jury selection on May 5th as a 51-year-old veterinarian who lives in Manhattan with his domestic partner, a freelance graphic designer. The juror said he has a doctorate in molecular biology and neuroscience and enjoys nature, documentaries, opera, and hiking. Wow, this looks like a profile like you're trying to get a date or something, right? But I guess this is just his background. Not sure if his background will be helpful to the Diddy team, to the defense team, or to the prosecuting team. Only time will tell. So reportedly, the judge sent the jury back to work and didn't replace the juror with an alternate. Now, it wasn't immediately clear if the moment was a speed bump in deliberations or a sign of more issues to come. Let's hope that this jury can deliberate and that there are no more issues to come. So it goes on, and it says that Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilio, on June 27th, framed the case as a tale of two trials. He argued the case is about love, jealousy, and money, not trafficking or racketeering. Really, Mark? So why did they give these instructions to the jury that the charges are indeed trafficking and racketeering that are included in these charges? Sounds like someone is in Delulu land. It is said that Mark Agnifilio on the defense team accused the government of putting on a show to target a wealthy celebrity. So this is what he came up with, that they are targeting Diddy, the wealthy celebrity. As if they don't charge everyday people with these same charges that are not celebrities. I am just saying, just because celebrities are brought up on charges does not mean they are being targeted. Now, since the Me Too movement, it seems like a lot of people have been going to trial, are being under the scope charged with sex acts and things of that nature. But I don't think that it's just that they are targeting these celebrities. I think that people are having more courage to come forward after the Me Too movement. That is my thought and opinion on the matter. However, it do seems like people feel more sympathy and empathy if it is a celebrity involved. Seems like people are more invested in the celebrity because, of course, they know their faces. So, as jury deliberations continued into the afternoon, jurors sent a question to the judge about how they should assess the rug distribution allegation against P. Diddy, and reportedly Judge Submarinian will get an answer to the jurors in the morning. I guess he said it is a wrap for the evening. The judge was ready to go home. The jury adjourned for the day and were able to go home. Now, as a note, if convicted on the racketeering charge, P. Diddy could face life in prison, while the statutory minimum sentence for sex trafficking is 15 years, and for transportation to engage in prostitution, you know what, is a maximum of 10 years. So the racketeering charge is the most serious charge. A mixed verdict, that is, if he is convicted on some but not all charges, could add up to any number of years. So P. Diddy is looking at spending a number of years behind bars stemming from these charges, that is, if he is found guilty. Reportedly, the jury will resume deliberations on Tuesday, July the 1st. They are expected to reach a verdict by the holiday, July the 4th. Now, of note, P. Diddy is claiming he is innocent of all of these charges. And as we know, people are assumed innocent until they are proven guilty. Now, although I don't see how he will beat all the charges, although he may be able to beat some of them, and of course there is a chance that he could beat all of these charges, as this decision is left up to the jurors in this case. So although I might have my opinion, and people might speculate as to whether they think that he will be found guilty or not, and whether he will be able to beat all these charges or not, we really and truly don't know until the jury hands out their deliberation and the deliberation is read in the court. However, I must say I would be shocked, highly shocked, if he is found innocent of all charges, especially listening to the defense team closing statements. I expect that he will have to do some additional time behind bars is what I am thinking. But that is just my thought and opinion though. Let me know what you think, busybodies. Make sure you leave a comment below. Make sure you like this video and go on ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel. It's your girl Liz, keeping up with the biz, and I am out. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.